Hey guys, it's Corey here, and today we're going to talk about the differences between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. So let's get right into it. You're probably here because you heard of WordPress and you're wondering what it's all about. So I'm sure you typed WordPress into Google, and the first thing that pops up after the ads, of course, is WordPress.com. Now, this is not the only version of WordPress, and it may not be the best option for you. So let's look into this. So WordPress.com comes up and it looks like a website building software. You can see website examples and start building your website button right at the top. Now let's look at the plans and pricing to see the real difference. So first of all, you may say, oh, they said that WordPress is free. So yeah, right here, I just click on start with my free option of WordPress. Now, this is not WordPress, the software. This is WordPress, the service. And how you know that is because after WordPress at the top here, you have the .com domain extension. So if you do this free option of WordPress here, then you're not going to have your own custom domain. What you're going to have instead is, let's say I'm going to create a website here and I'm going to call it Corey's Cool Website. Instead of corey'scoolwebsite.com, I'm going to have corey'scoolwebsite.wordpress.com. So, and you're going to be super limited in what you're going to be able to do. Now you might say, okay, well, if I get a personal, if I start out for the $4 a month, billed yearly, then I can have my own domain, which you can, of course, you can. But so really look at the differences. Let's scroll down to the themes, and right here, install plugins and upload themes. Now, one of the most powerful things about WordPress is the plugins and themes. And what plugins are they are programs that help you extend the functionality of WordPress, or in other terms, you're able to do so many different options on your website. You're able to maybe add an email list. You could add extensions to your database to add some more functionality when you want to save stuff to your website. So it adds all sorts of functionality. It could be a third-party application that it could just help you with backing up your website or making your website run faster or run more efficiently. So there's so many different types of plugins out there, and that's one of the most powerful things about WordPress is if WordPress can't do it, there's probably a plugin out there that can. So you want to be able to use plugins, and you also want to be able to use themes. Now what themes are the actual look and feel of your website, and if you could custom code, well, or custom create, I don't want to use the word code there, but you could custom create a layout, and it could look nice, but that takes a lot of time. And a lot of time you'll find it much easier is to install a theme that already has a look and feel that you're looking for, and instead of having to recreate the wheel every time. It's one of the very powerful things about WordPress. You could create literally a site in a day if you know exactly what you're doing. And in this version, you won't have that capability because the free version won't give it to you, the personal version won't. You actually have to have the business or e-commerce versions to have plugin support and theme support. So this is one of the reasons why WordPress.com may not be the option you're looking for. WordPress.com is a company. This website is run by a for-profit company, and they're trying to provide you a service, but it's going to cost you a lot more, especially if you want to customize your site in any way. So the business plan is $25 per month and $45 per month. So just to recap a little bit and put that into perspective, WordPress.com is a commercial for-profit company. There's limited settings. It may be easier if you don't want to get into some of the technical problems you may face when running your own WordPress website, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But you cannot install plugins or themes unless you pay $25 a month, and you cannot remove WordPress branding unless you pay $25 a month. So there's always going to be that WordPress.com on the bottom of your website. Also, there's limited disk space, which you probably the limitations are much higher if you or maybe sometimes not at all if you're running your own WordPress website. And you're subscribing to a service is what you're doing. It's really, you're just buying kind of software, just like you would buy, the Wix service or Squarespace service. And this could run you $300 to $540 per year, depending on what you do. $540, the upper mark there, if you are creating an e-commerce website. Now you can create any type of website you want if you put WordPress on your own server. So that's what WordPress.org is. You're going to get a lot more and you're going to pay a lot less. So WordPress.org, let's actually go there before we get into it. WordPress.org. This is not a paid service. And let me bring back up my little cheat sheet here. So WordPress.org is a website where you download the WordPress open source program. And this is created and updated by professional programmers for you to freely use on your own website. That's what open source is. It's a bunch of programmers that came together and said, hey, we want to create really awesome software, and we're just going to put it on a space where anybody can download it and use the software when they want to. So WordPress is huge. WordPress is about 37 or 38% of the entire internet. There's a lot of, I'm sure you've been on a WordPress website and you didn't even know it. There's major brands that use WordPress, so don't think this is any kind of watered down version of a website that you're getting. This is going to be, could be an awesome website depending on your skills and how much you learn and invest in time really to create a cool website for you. So you're going to have full control of your website, especially if you have your own hosting, and we're going to get into that a little bit later on. There is a little bit of a technical learning curve. So there are a few things that could go wrong. You could get an error screen and you're going to have to be able to fix that. And we'll get into all that later on in this course. As well as, and instead of the $300 or $540 per year, a yearly cost to run a WordPress website, and this is on the upper hand, is about $95, $100 a year. An entire year costs about $100, and that's getting your domain and getting your own shared hosting account. So let's get into what WordPress.org is exactly. Going to the website, you'll notice this isn't a commercial website. There's nowhere on the site where you're going to pay for anything. As a matter of fact, when you scroll down, here's an example of what it's going to look like when it's installed on your server. And to scroll down, we see some powerful features. Security is another feature that they've been working on to make WordPress really, really a secure way to go. And there's also plugins that will help you with that as well. And so here's the button where you get WordPress. And all you have to do is click on this button and you will download a zip file. Now, a lot of people, and especially when I first started, I downloaded the zip file and I had no idea what to do with the files. I'm like, what are these files? Where do I put them? How does this work? How do I get started? And these files don't work on your computer. They work on a server. So you're going to have to get a shared hosting account and put that these files on the server. So getting a shared hosting account is pretty simple. If you've ever subscribed to a service on a website by creating a login, a password, putting credit card information in, and just choosing the right options, that's all getting a shared server is. You don't have to do anything besides. It's very, very, very very simple, but it does take instruction if you're not familiar with how it works. Okay, so that about wraps it up for this video. Again, the difference between WordPress.com, very briefly, is .com is the most widely used domain extension now. And it has been ever since domains came to be. But that's one way you could view it. Com stands for commercial, and org is the open source version where you can download the software of WordPress to put on your own shared server. So that's going to be it for this video. Now, next video we're going to talk about how the internet actually works, how your website is going to connect to the internet. I actually have, graphs that shows you how it's all connected and what you're going to need to buy exactly in order to get your website up and running and connected to the internet so that anybody can access it with a domain name. All right, so stay tuned. This is part of my video series, which is creating a WordPress website in 2020. If you like this, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. And hopefully this brought you value. If you do need a developer and you don't want to do it yourself after going through these videos and saying, hey, this may not be for me. I don't want to get too technical. I just want to pay somebody to do that. I do have a link below where you can contact me and fill out a little form. Just tell me a little bit about your project to see if we'd be a good fit together. All right, well, thank you so much. Please take care. Please stay passionate to your goals. I appreciate it.